13 months ago, I was addicted to meth for 25 years, and I was homeless. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about rehab, which is probably why I hadn't gone there in the first place. Had I known how good it was, I probably would have gone 20 odd years ago, but we live and learn, I used to walk past homelessness all the time and not really give a shit. Now I walk past it and I feel it.
Hey guys, what's up, and thanks for tuning in. In this episode, I had the honor and pleasure of a real-life superhero join me on the show. Well, in my eyes, he is. Beau Haywood, founder of Nourish Street Inc. Beau's journey from addiction recovery to helping Brisbane's homeless is both inspiring and eye-opening. However, even heroes need help. Now, if you want to help make a difference, then please stick around. This episode's for you. Now, before we dive in, please take note that we'll be discussing sensitive topics like addiction and suicide. And if you or someone you know of is in need of support, then please call Lifeline on 13 11 14. That number again is 13 11 14. Help is always available. And please subscribe, like, and share this episode with your friends and family. With each like, share, and subscriber helps to spread the word of amazing stories like Beau's to connect more people to causes that matter. Now let's dive into the show. Hey guys, what's up, and welcome back to the show. Today I'm here at Sutton's Beach, which is located in Redcliffe, one of God's hidden gems, but also a location chosen by my special guest joining me on the show today, Beau Haywood. And for those that may not know much about Beau and his team from Nourish Street Inc, well then please stick around and hear about the great work he does, and also how you can get involved in supporting them, support their cause. Stick around to hear more as we hear from Beau. Beau, welcome to the show, brother.
Hi Tar, thanks for having me along.
Looks like the heavens have kind of closed off the rain for a bit. So before we dive into the show, I like to kind of ask my guests a icebreaker. In your journey, if you could describe in one word what that is and why. In your journey, if you could describe that in one word, what that is and why.
Well, that's a really good one. Lead. Yeah, and I guess it's because since I've started Nourish Street, everything has fallen into place at the right time, like it's being led. I've never had anything in my life ever go to plan, but when it comes to Nourish Street, I get bizarre coincidences that happen to me like every second day. Big slaps in the face, like you are doing the right, something's going right, so yeah, led would be the word.
Wow, that's amazing. I was actually thinking of one too, committed. Wind, rain, sun, storm, you're committed to your cause. So
Yeah.
Thought I'd put that out there too.
Thanks.
Now, before we continue on, just for the listeners and the viewers that may not know much about you and what you do, could you just share a little bit about yourself and your background?
All right, so we'll start at the very beginning. 13 months ago, I was addicted to meth for 25 years, and I was homeless. My partner had had enough of my antics and decided she'd kick me out, and that left me sleeping in my car and in my swag, not able to see my child, feeling very isolated and alone, and contemplating life. I realised that meth had brought about my demise, and I'd been lying to a lot of people and stuffing a lot of people around, and as I sat there contemplating life, I sort of thought, maybe the world would be better off without me. So I looped a hose from my car tailpipe into my car and started it up and sat there for about 3 hours, breathing in the fumes, which rendered me unconscious. The police somehow managed to stumble upon my vehicle and pulled me out unconscious, and when I woke up from that, I realised I couldn't even do that properly, and I should probably do something about going to rehab and changing my ways. So I went to Munya Rehab and did the 3-month course there, and I haven't looked back. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about rehab, which is probably why I hadn't gone there in the first place. Had I known how good it was, I probably would have gone 20 odd years ago, but we live and learn, So when I came out of rehab, I guess, having experienced that homelessness, and I thought, I guess I opened up a compassionate side of me that I didn't realise I had. I was going for a drive along the waterfront here with my partner, who graciously took me back after I'd been to rehab, and I'd noticed the amount of homelessness along here, and I said to my partner, I'm going to do something about this. For the last couple of years prior to this, myself and my brother had driven along here at Christmas time and donated food hampers to the homeless, and there were only about 20 along here. But when myself and my partner went for the drive along here, we noticed about 48 or 49, with 1 or 2 people in each car or tent that was parked there. And so it really exploded, and I said, this is no good. I'm going to do something about this. And she said, what? And I said, I've got no idea. So I hopped on social media, and I put it out there to the community. I said, look, it'd be really good if people could start donating some perishable, non-perishable goods that we could go and distribute. Community were really good, jumped on board, and I had enough to do about 80 bags of groceries. So we went along, distributed those, and of course it went down really well. And the donations kept on rolling in, and thought, man, we're going to have to do another one. So this is fantastic. And then someone donated a whole lot of fresh meat, and my partner goes, I'm going to have to do some cooking. So she started cooking up some meals, and of course, hot meals when you're homeless Absolutely. And don't have anything to cook on is a godsend. So that went down really well, and then we decided that we'd sort of keep the momentum rolling. So it's we then had to put a label to it, so we called ourselves Nourish Street. We're now a registered charity. We've got DGR status, and it's got to a point now where I've got a volunteer, 2 utes, and we distribute between 500 and 600 hot meals a week to between 100 and 120 homeless individuals in Strathpine, Launton, Bray Park, Petrie, Kalanga, Mango Hill, Redcliffe, and a little bit of Sandgate. We're looking at expanding. Of course, to expand, we need a premise of our own, a licensed kitchen of our own, so that way we can get more volunteers in. We don't have a shortage of volunteers. It's just that at the moment, because we're running it all from our house, it's really hard to. We can't have people over at our house. So once we get a premise, this thing's going to go. It's going to get massive.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah,
There was something else you posted up on Facebook that you were requesting someone to do some documents or something.
Yeah, so because we're now a registered charity, we can apply for grants. That's to try and get a bit of government assistance. We're unfunded at the moment, so everything we get comes from the community. And the community, like I said, have been absolutely fantastic at jumping on board this initiative. The community have been really good, awesome. Like, I love this community. But we understand we can only rely on the community for so much. It's tight times for everyone. So if we can get a bit of government funding, then that's going to also help the cause. I don't want Nourish Street just to be about food. I've got a vision, and that's to have a hub that people can come to with accommodation attached, so that people aren't out on the street, living in tents and cars and feeling that massive depressive low that I felt. So by having a hub with accommodation attached, with a kitchen, people can come there, they can get help with their addictions, their physical health, their mental health, their employment, housing, dentistry, anything at all that bothers them. They can come there, and while they're there, they can it's like a bit of a rehabilitation program to get people from being homeless back to being in a house, because I've noticed that there's a bit of a cycle. There's a reason why people became homeless in the first place, and I've noticed some people will get housed, and then 3 or 6 months later they're back out on the streets again, because they haven't addressed those issues, those underlying issues that may have got them there in the first place, or maybe they've just, gotten too used to being homeless. So with this hub, I really hope that we can help them in that aspect, so to sort of break that cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the impacts of that from a mental state where they're unable to navigate the challenges that they face. It's been such an inspiration to hear what you're sharing with us today, but also the birth of Nourish Street Inc. That's pretty awesome, and all the work that you've put into it. What would you say are the biggest challenges that you're constantly battling with, or
Well, the biggest one at the moment is running it all from our house. Like I said, our house is just absolutely overwhelmed with, because we don't only just do food, we do camping equipment too. So we get a lot of people that donate. Our drop-off point is the YMCA op shop located at 130 Gympie Road, Strathpine. For anyone who wants to donate any perishable, non-perishable food, any camping equipment, you can drop it all down there. And a lot of people do. The problem is I need somewhere to put that, right? So I've got a 40-foot truck out the front of my house, which is chock-a-block full, and it's overflowing into our house. So the biggest challenge for us is trying to find a premise that we can run from. The next biggest challenge for us is volunteers. Because we run it from our house, we can't have volunteers. But once we get the premise, that will then open it up to the amount of people that want to help us is huge. And once we get that premise, we can then facilitate that. And that's going to, like I said, just take us next level, Once we get more people helping make food, more people to help distribute food, more utes, the sky's the limit.
Some storage units too. Maybe you could get people involved in, paying for the rent for the month or for the year, or whatever. Have a few of those guys jump on board from the community.
Yeah. Look, anything that anyone can think of that we haven't thought of is always welcome.
Yeah.
People can message us on Facebook or email us at nourishstreet@gmail.com. That's our email. Jump on there if you've got any ideas on how you want to help, or if they've got any financials that they want to offset from their business, they can do it using our DGR status. It gives them a tax rebate or something like that. I'm not quite sure how it works.
No, me too. But I understand what you mean. What's like one or two things that you would like the listeners to take away from this discussion?
Well, I guess the first one is, look, I'm a pretty big advocate for rehab. I certainly wouldn't be here, I don't think, today if it wasn't for that.
What were the benefits of that during the time you were in it?
Oh, look, I went to Moonya Rehab, which is Salvation Army run, and I can't say enough good stuff about that place. I think a lot of people, like I did, have a big misconception about rehab, and they think it's an institution, and it's not. It's a place of learning. It's a place of freedom. You're not locked down. You don't get your phone taken away from you or anything at all like that. When you're there, you've got freedom to walk out the gate. I was walking 16 kilometres a day when I was in rehab, because it was good for my mental health. But while you're there, they help you out with your underlying issues to why you became an addict in the first place, your mental health, your physical health, your eyesight, dentistry, employment opportunities, and housing for when you come out of rehab. So look, like I said, I'm a big advocate for it out there, and I like to share my story to those that are suffering from addiction. Unfortunately, I do see it a lot out there with the homeless community. Probably 90% of the people I see have addictions. So I like to share my story, and by doing so, we've got 6 people to go to rehab. So I guess one of the things that I'd like to say is never give up, because there is hope. And I've heard the saying, once a junkie, always a junkie. Absolutely bullshit. Here I am 13 months on, clean as a whistle, with absolutely no intention of ever touching that shit again.
Thanks again for tuning in. And again, if you know someone in need of support, then please call Lifeline on 13 11 14. That number again is 13 11 14. Help is always available. And please, if you're finding value in today's show, please subscribe, like, and share this episode with your friends and family, so this channel can continue to grow and I can continue to reach out to local charities and individuals to share more amazing stories like Beau's. Now let's get back to it. I mean, that story is so inspiring that I hope for someone that's going through some challenges that are dealing with addictions, and that poem that you also posted was so powerful, relating to feeling lost and sad and breaking free from all you went through and all the challenges you faced, and now you're living proof. So I take my hat off to you and all the great stuff you've done. Are there any final thoughts or anything else that you would like to bring up that you've always wanted to get off your chest and express to anyone out there?
Yeah, look, I think before I got clean, right, I was just focused on myself and getting high on my next fix, and I guess my vision, everything was clouded. And since I guess being clean and my eyes being opened, and I used to walk past homelessness all the time and not really give a shit. Now I walk past it and I feel it, and I think there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to homeless people. A lot of people think it is just junkies, but anyone can end up homeless. Could be you, man. It could be me next week. A lot of us are only one pay away from it. In all reality, unfortunately, it's the world we live in. So don't be judgmental on those that you see out there, and don't think it is just junkies. And there's reasons why people become homeless. The other week I saw an elderly couple, 71 and 73, been homeless for the first time in their life, man. Like, my heart broke for them. They've got 5 kids, and they said none of the kids wanted them there. They asked me for a tent, and I sent them over to Sleep Bus over here in Redcliffe. Sleep Bus is another good thing that's going on around here to help combat. It runs Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays locally. It's a large bus with cubicles in it that people can come to for a safe sleep Monday to Friday. So I sent them over to that, and I linked them up with some housing resources I've got. So hopefully they'll find something soon. But man, homelessness can happen to anyone. So don't be judgmental. And if you think you can help, if you don't want to help directly, help by jumping on board a charity that you can help through instead. There's lots of different ways to help, and there's nothing more vulnerable than people on the street. They're doing it tough, and when you're homeless, the first thing to suffer is your mental health. So a lot of these people are suffering depression, and suicidal thoughts like I was. And I guess that's why I do what I do, because if someone had come up to me and offered me a meal and an ear to listen to that time when I was wanting to end my life in my car, I probably wouldn't have got to that stage.
Do you also think about how sometimes for someone that's homeless, they find it hard to ask for help?
Yeah, look, with homelessness, a lot of people still have their pride. And one of the reasons that I drive around to everybody individually and I don't just pull up in the park is because I don't want to take their last little bit of pride by them having to come and ask me for food. So we like to go and offer it. But
like when you go and offer it, how do you go about it? Because maybe someone that's listening could probably use kind of methods that you use in trying to approach.
Yeah, look, hey, I got to be honest. Your own safety is paramount. Some of these people, they do shy away from being seen. Some people I've had to work on a lot to even come out of their tents. So just consider your own safety first. A lot of these individuals, unfortunately, do walk around with knives and other things like that to keep themselves safe because they know they're vulnerable. But look, go with somebody else so that your safety is looked after. Just be yourself, be up front, hey, and just be cool. And look, if you can relate to them, that's also a great thing. Don't I guess approach them with a judgmental tone of voice, because no one likes that. Yeah.
I mean, I do remember approaching one of the guys that was, when I used to live down the Gold Coast, he was camped up on the beach. So I had some cans of food. I kind of just stood outside just to call out. It was during daylight, so I didn't want to sneak up on him, but I made sure, hey mate, just got some stuff in the bag for you if you need some food and that. And yeah, when he came out, he was kind of like, man, I appreciate that. So that was the kind of approach I went with, but also understanding your safety is That's crucial as
Yeah,
well.
look, most people are pretty good. But because you do have a lot of drugs, alcohol, depression, a lot of mental health issues, a fair bit of psychosis. Someone that you can approach one day, who'll be fine. The next day could be having a bit of an episode, and it can be dangerous, unfortunately.
Oh man, Beau, like I honestly take my head off to all the good work you and your team do. With your team, how many of you guys at the moment, running your empire?
Oh,
That's
man,
just so full on. You do 16 hours a day. You're collecting donations. You're also doing deliveries. I mean, where do you get the energy from, man?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know where it comes from either. I guess it comes from passion and drive. But yeah, I put in 16 hours a day at the moment. It's 6 days a week to it. And because we run it from our home, it is a really small crew. So I pretty much run around all day for it, doing the pickups, the deliveries, and myself and my partner cook between 200 and 300 meals a week. On top of it all, we've got Tan from Tan's Cafe and Takeaway, who does 200 meals a week for us. I've got my offsider Matt, who drives one of the utes, and he often covers Redcliffe while I do Strathpine, Launton, Petrie, Clangabrae Park. The days he helps me out, which is 2 or 3 days a week, is a massive load off, because otherwise it takes me 4.5 hours to get around everyone myself, and often I don't get home till about 11:30 at night. The days that he helps me out, often I can get home at about 8:30, and that gives me a little bit of family time for my family, which unfortunately miss out. But yeah, we're just a small team. We've got Kelly in the background. She does a lot of the paperwork side for us. She's our secretary. Got a few awesome people who do our bread runs for us.
So other areas that you want covered, what would help in those areas that you can't always keep on top of?
Well, look, it's a difficult one, because when I get asked to come and pick up a bunch of food or pick things up, it's often spur of the moment, and so it's hard to have people on board ready to go when things need to happen. That's why I'm hoping that when we get this hub, we can have a few people that want to sit around, chill out there for the day, have people that can come in and help facilitate the facility, so to speak, and can be on board to jump in a ute and run and do some pickups and deliveries, or race down the YMCA and pick up today's donations and take it over to the storage facility and throw it in there. And but at the moment it's a one-man band. It's pretty heavy. I've got a lot of work on my plate,
How can everyone get a hold of you?
Giving us a call, 041 233 6628. That's my number if you want to call me directly. Our email, nourishstreet@gmail.com. Our Facebook page is Nourish Street Inc. You can jump on there and have a look at the work that we do. We're getting a website up and operational. Hopefully they'll be going in the next couple of weeks, but I'm not quite sure what the page is yet. I don't know too much about that. Look, they're the best ways to jump on board. Our Facebook page is our main coalface to everyone who wants to get on board. They can use Messenger and jump on board there. We've got quite a few automated messages for anyone who's got any questions, who want to ask how they can help out. And once again, we're really transparent in everything that we do. With the whole Facebook thing, man, I see a lot of pages, and you see people on those pages, and they're like, "Oh, here's a homeless dude. I'm running up with $50. Look at me." We're not about that. The way that we run our Facebook pages, look, we show what we do in the way of, this is the food we're taking out there, but that's to try and get community engagement, because we are so reliant on the community jumping on board this initiative. Because we're unfunded, it's all about community, helping community, and the only way I can sort of get that to happen is by saying, hey, this is the food we're taking out tonight, thanks to Tan's Cafe and Takeaway, etc., etc., thanks to the bakery who've jumped on board, this is what's going out tonight. But a lot of the people who jump on our page are also people without houses. And that also gives them the heads up as to what we're taking out tonight. So they can see, hey, look what's coming tonight for dinner, you know.
And that's amazing. And also, I'll add those details in the descriptions down below on how you can contact Beau and the team. Because, hey, guys, you know, if you can at least donate an hour or two of your time to help him out where he needs help, send him a text message. Brisbane, let's get behind Beau and the Nourish Street Inc team. Beau, it is an absolute pleasure having you on the show today. And I hope to see this grow to more than just where you are at the moment, but to something that's going to bring everyone together and united as one big happy community and a family.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tar. And yeah, once again, this is a community effort, and the more people that can jump on board, help us out in any way, the bigger and better it's going to be. Eventually, I hope it to be Brisbane wide, maybe Australia wide. Who knows?
Absolutely, man. You're leading the charge, man. So everyone's just going to have to follow you on Facebook, unfortunately. You know how it is. So bye, man. Thanks, bro.
Thank you. Cheers.